Okay, here we go. Less than 30 seconds until the broadcast. I hope you guys are excited. I probably won't be on mic as much throughout the broadcast. I don't want to take away from it, but you definitely will find me in chat. So I hope everyone is just as excited as I am for this information for the drop. Here we go.
Community developer for the Division 2, and today with me is a very special guest, Morten Dreiberg, our product director for the Division 2. Hello, Morten. Super exciting to have you here today.
Hi, Daria. It's really good to be here.
Yeah, and today we're gonna have a lot of exciting news to share, but before we'll dive into that, here is a few announcements. So first of all, if you have any questions, we're going to have time for them in the end of the stream, hopefully 15-20 minutes. So feel free to leave your questions in the chat. Our community managers will pick them up from there. And unfortunately, on YouTube, you won't be able to leave any questions. We'll have to disable the chat there. But good news, we're now on YouTube, so you can watch us on two screens at the same time. It's probably going to be weird, but you can try anyway. And for the discussion topics today, of course, we're going to talk about Season 11, which we are very excited to release finally. Also, we're going to show you the new trailer, the new Manhunt targets, new gear. Probably some of you have already seen that during the PTS. But not everything.
Nope.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. So there is going to be a lot of surprises. And if you're interested to see a very familiar item from the Division 1 that is supposed to be part of the Division 2 now, stay tuned. We're gonna show it. Also, we're going to talk about some PvP quality of life updates, some PTS results as usual. We're going to showcase the new April event.
Yep.
And also discuss briefly Descent and ETF situation.
Correct.
And talk about future plans.
Yes.
The most exciting part, probably. Okay, let's dive into it. So before we move on to Season 11, I think it's important for us to address a few issues that's been very prominent for past few months, and community really needs to know what's going to happen with crashes on PC.
Yeah. So we know we fixed some crashes already, actually quite a lot, but there are some big issues that are basically legacy issues from way back, and we have identified them, which is really good, because that's kind of the basis for actually being able to address it. So the mandate right now is that we will add some very specialized people to the team that is needed in order to fix these. So that includes engine programmers and render programmers that will be added in Bucharest, so we can actually get to the bottom of this and hopefully get rid of all the crashes on especially PC, of course.
That's some really exciting news.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very big for us to have these people once they come on the team, and they're gonna be fully focused on fixing all things live. So it's gonna be like a little unit within the team that are 100% focused on securing that the live part of the game is running as smooth as possible.
That's really exciting. I mean, I had no idea. I'm really looking forward to it. So to basically summarize everything, we're going to have a team specifically dedicated to all the live processes, to stability issues.
Yeah. So basically just to run through, all the different reports that we get and make sure, with, of course, of our quality control team and that we can look at it, get the data we need in order to start fixing it on a back end, and then retest, and then hopefully deploy something that the players will actually feel the impact of in the end. Yes.
Man, I'm looking forward to finally update those few cards on the known issues board dedicated to PC stability issues. And I'm sure that a lot of players, especially PC players in the community, are looking forward to those updates. So
of course, we don't know how long this is going to take.
Yeah.
As with all bugs, and also getting the right people in. But it's feel good to tell you, the players, that we know about it and we're going to do something about it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Moving on. Obviously, I'm maybe trying to kind of foresee the questions that we're going to see in the chat later today, but I'm just 100% sure that people are going to ask about the spec revamp, because there's been no updates for quite some time. And
yeah, I guess the article from way back in the fall of, what was it, 21, is still biting us a bit. We're not going to move into details on year 5. So we ask you to wait a little longer on that kind of detail. So for now, we don't have information to share. But in our year 5 update, we'll get in on all things year 5 and how we're going to change the game.
And I assume that for year 5, as soon as we're done with the season 11 release, we'll probably update the roadmap to let everyone know what are our future plans.
Yeah, we have some good plans for a year 5 update to all our players, and we'll let you know when we're ready to reveal that kind of information.
Yeah, but this stream is not about year 5. This stream is about season 11.
Correct.
And yeah, also some exciting news. Probably a lot of you already know about that, but The Division 2 is now available on Steam.
It is.
Since January.
Yeah.
Which is super exciting. And yeah, there are a lot of questions about Steam Deck.
Yeah, so we had a little internal competition going on, I guess. So we actually updated the Steam client, so it is now fully functional with the easy anti-cheat on Linux. So it can now run perfectly on Steam Deck natively. We're still struggling to get the full, certified stamp from Steam, which is basically just some technicalities on screen keyboard readability and such. But we're really happy with the game actually being fully functional on deck. So if you feel like being comfortable in the couch playing Division 2 or in the bedroom, then this is absolutely doable now.
Yeah, and I know that it's possible for the first installment, right? The Division 1 is running on Steam Deck, so if you want to give it a try, it's already available. And yeah, I think we should address the elephant in the room as well, the compensation cache. Because we've received a lot of questions about the cache not being delivered or being delivered but not showing up in the mailbox. And it's actually a big issue now.
It is annoying for us. So we know that there is, for some people, it is a minority, but still it's for us, it's extremely frustrating that some players are not receiving the grants that we set up. We're working very hard to fix it with an online team here at Massive. But we will most likely tomorrow extend the period for when we do the compensation cash grant. That does have an impact on a few other smaller things, but knowing that there are still people out there that needs to get it, that is the right decision to make at this point.
Yeah, and I would also mention that if you're worried or for some reason you think that you did not receive the grant, or you received it but you were not able to find it in your mailbox, just saw the message or saw the receipt, there is no need for you to reach out to support right now, because we are totally aware of the situation and we are making sure to fix it, and we would just want to prevent the tickets from piling up, because it's obviously puts a lot of pressure and support, and it's our responsibility to actually fix it. So
correct.
Yeah. And before we will move to some other things, there is one last question, since I have you here and you're very knowledgeable about a lot of things. It's probably a question like I will ask you honestly as a noob. and I know that's also a problem that some of the players ran into. So, talking about global directives and difficulties, like sometimes whenever you set the difficulty to a lower one, it does not really feel like it actually scales down.
Yeah. So we've seen a few videos and comments that that the difficulty was available in the classified assignment missions, and it was at the time unintended behavior for the game. That also means that this is actually happening because it's taking the difficulties that you set on the global setting and applying that to all content. Which means that if you go to a mission and try to start it and you can't complete it and you think, all right, I'll redo it on a lower difficulty, well, it doesn't really affect the mission difficulty unless you lower the global setting difficulty. And that also happens with the directives, which is why directives is available in certain areas that normally wouldn't, the raids as an example. Yeah. And we actually think that it's a really cool thing, and we're actually working on implementing this for real across these activities, so that you would be able to, like with all missions, select the difficulty for the classified missions and the directives, and the same for the raids. Not the difficulty, of course, but to apply directives to them, just for the added fun for those players that feel that it can be a chore to get through a normal difficulty rate. I'm not one of them, but there are certainly many of them out there.
But when should we expect that one?
Oh, I don't want to promise anything, but we're working on it for sure.
Okay, yeah, we'll just paint a pretty picture.
Yeah, exactly.
The idea is good enough. So looking forward to it, definitely. And I think we can actually move to discussing the BTS results. To those of you who has no idea what BTS is, it's a possibility for our PC players to test the upcoming content, mainly seasonal content. And for us, it serves as the perfect opportunity to review your feedback and make some good adjustments.
Yep. Correct.
And yeah, this BTS had a lot of PvP quality of life updates, and I think we can talk about them. I already see that on the screen, Jammer.
Yeah. So when we tested the new functionality to the Jammer on the PTS, you had to match the skill tier level of the opposing player. So that was a bit drastic. And we heard that. So what we're actually doing, and you can bring up the graphic potentially. So what we're basically doing is that we're adding so that it can actually jam plus 3 skill tiers to your own skill tier. Meaning that, let's say you have 0 skill tiers, you can still jam players that have 1, 2, and 3 skill tiers. And of course that goes all the way up. Meaning that if you have 3 skill tiers, you can jam even skill tier 6. This is still being balanced, I would say, depending on how the meta plays out during Season 11. I want to leave room for this to be adjusted because it's very easy for us to make it maybe only plus 2 or whatnot. But it's very important that we start addressing this because it's a very, very easy skill to use and it completely handicaps skill players. But at least it also leaves room for those that are not skill based player builds to jam the others. And the other bullet is for the sticky. We can bring that up. We're not changing anything to the EMP sticky, meaning that if you are running a 0 skill tier build, or maybe 1 with the memento, you can still use the EMP sticky. It does require some more skill to use, and that's why we think that it's more fair, that it actually can have a more range in terms of what it actually jams. But right now, of course, we've seen the comments that players, can it just disable instead of destroy? that functionality is not really in our game, and it would require a lot of rebuilding. So this is what we can do right now, as we wanted to address it, and then we'll keep reading the feedback and see where we take this. It'll also be discussed with the ETF that we come back to later on.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, I'm just going to mention that whenever we have PTS and some changes come as a result of us reacting to the feedback we saw during the PTS, it doesn't mean that those changes would stay like that forever, because whenever the wider player base gets their hands on the update, of course, the feedback can be completely different, and that's totally normal. So just letting you guys know that everything is in your hands.
Yeah.
Play season 11 tomorrow and let us know what you think about those changes. And yeah, there is another very important change just appeared on the screen, and it's the shrapnel trap. Finally.
Yeah, finally.
10 years later. Yeah.
Since its inception, it's been wrong. So yeah, it's finally been corrected and scales correctly in PvP. So that's a big relief for a lot of players.
Yeah.
Going into season 11 for sure.
But that's not it. There another thing that we asked you to test during the PTS, and it actually resulted in a lot of discussions among the community. It's adding the few exotics that are otherwise exclusive to a specific content, namely raids, and now we are adding them to the Dark Zone. And you can see those exotics on the screen right now. It's Ravenous, Bighorn, and Eagle Bearer. And what is important to mention here, that this change is not an attempt to kill raids or affect raids in any way. It's just an opportunity for players who either have problems with fighting a raid group or do not have enough time to beat the raid, because we all know how complicated that game mode is. It's just an opportunity to receive those exotics in the Dark Zone.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. I think
Absolutely.
so. The desire from our side is that it's still a lot easier to obtain these items if you find a group and play with them and go through the raid or a legendary mission, than to try and have them dropping inside the Dark Zone and extracting them. So the drop chances are lower than other exotics in the Dark Zone, and that's just like half the job, because then you also, of course, also need to get them out, as they do drop as contaminated loot.
They do. And actually I have the note here that the exotic drop chance are similar to the one on Heroic in the open world, in the live world. So it's not really a high percentage.
No. But it's there. It's going to add some fun, hopefully. Some more, upbeat discussions. There are open mics. It's always fun to listen to that. And we can discuss if it's toxicity or just playing on each other's nerves. I guess it's the latter.
But I'm 100% sure that it won't take anything from the Raiders community, and we know and appreciate their efforts in helping each other, helping players within the community find the groups and actually beat the raids. And I'm sure that this specific, situation where you not only come together to beat the raid, but find, good people within the community, new friends, new teammates. That's not something that Dark Zone can compensate for. Definitely not.
Maybe we should also just mention that the Dark Zone will no longer have non-contaminated loot dropping. So the targeted loot will now again be contaminated and needs to be extracted.
Starting with
Season 11.
Season 11, so starting tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Back to the normal Dark Zone. We've been a bit generous in Season 10 due to a bug, but it's been decided a long time ago that we wanted to change it back with this change of the exotics. So yeah, that's coming with the update tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the percentage of extraction is going to be.
Oh yeah.
So if it's possible for us to track that data, we'll definitely share it with everyone in the community to just compare it and maybe kill the conversation about raids versus Dark Zone once and for all. We'll see. But PvP changes and quality of life updates, of course, that was not everything that we had during the BTS last time around. There were a few updates that we also wanted to mention. And I'm seeing on the screen something that was not.
Yeah, this is not PvP, but yeah.
Yeah, not PvP and not BTS, but Mortem, I'll let you comment on that anyway.
Yeah, I just want to mention we've had on the known issues board for some time the conflict XP. We know that it's a big desire for the conflict players to have XP added to their shade level. We are working on it. We hope to have it in with this season, but unfortunately, it's going to take a little more time to get it ready, as it was apparently a bit different from what we had expected in the beginning. So it has to be with the next season, unfortunately. So it's going to be the first season of year 5 we are aiming for. I really wanted to get it in, but it's just not possible. There was a lot of other things we needed to make sure that also happened. And yeah, that's one of the outcomes.
And I guess that can also become part of the PTS next time we have it for the first season of year 5.
Correct.
So yeah. And a few other things that people were discussing after the last PTS, for example, the hot shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's working as intended now.
yeah, we know that, but we'll just probably keep monitoring the performance and see how it plays out whenever everyone gets their hands on Season 11.
There's one especially one comment on the new exotic Sacrum Imperium that was, we understand the desire to have that. It was adding a scope functionality to it. So what we will do later in Season 11 is that we will add the C79 scope to the Sacrum Imperium, so you can have that, choice of zooming in or not. So that's going to be a welcome change, both in PV and PvP.
Definitely. And if we can have the previous picture back here, there is another update that's going to be available for you starting from tomorrow.
Yes. So this is a small quality of life update on our masks. So we're changing the lighting to give more depth to all our masks and headgear. We've actually done a lot of minor adjustments to all our apparel, but this one is very noticeable. As you can see on the right side, it adds the shadows and such to the face behind the mask. And yeah, we hope you'll enjoy these small and subtle features that just sneak their way into our updates.
Yeah, the way you also sneaked this specific picture into the live stream, because small things like that are actually super exciting, and they make the game as beautiful and immersive as it is. Yeah. And it's very important. It's a big part of the Division fantasy. And I guess with that, we are done with the PTS discussion, and we can finally showcase you and show you the Season 11.
Yeah.
Yep. Can we show the trailer, please?
We got used to winning, to defeating our enemies, or turning them to our cause. But now they have their own alliance, led by Sokolova. And if the mastermind of the Black Tusk is coming to Washington, it will be to eliminate the Division. That's why she needs Stovepipe. They don't care about the cost. Only who wins.
That was a very cool trailer. I love it.
Yeah, I hope you all liked it.
I mean, it's really amazing. It's impressive.
We've been waiting so long to show this.
Oh, I love that one. Oh, I love it. The blinking. Yeah, nice. So, as you can see, Season 11, Reign of Fire, that will become available to you tomorrow after the maintenance. Features the new Primal
target,
Prime Target. And his name is Zachary Stovepipe Beatty. And here they are, our 4 new targets.
Yeah.
So yeah, as usual, the manhunt, you will need to beat Chunks, Bantam, Cursed, and Onti in order to get the intel on Stovepipe. And those are very interesting targets.
Yeah, I think there's some really cool stuff also in their bios and stuff that I'm sure some players will dig into. And the story overall in Season 11 is, the conclusion to our Year 4. And I'm really excited to see the reactions of players getting this conclusion and Stovepipe as a character, that we're all going for, and of course the omnipresent Sokolova. She's starting to really make herself, present in our story and in our lore. So that's definitely some very cool moments coming up for sure.
Yeah, kudos to our narrative director, Lauren Stone,
yeah.
for creating such an immersive story. I mean, we obviously don't want to give away any spoilers.
No, that would be a bit sad, but it's we know that there's some weeks to go before you have the conclusion, but I'm sure that it's gonna be a very special experience for sure.
Yeah, I'm super excited for the continuation of the story.
Me too.
I won't comment on the Stovepipe looks, but you will see for yourself.
Yeah, he seems a bit cocky, right?
Yeah. Okay, enough about Stovepipe, but he looks good, right? So let's talk about gear, talents, and new weapons that we also got to have with Season 11. Some of them were available as during the PTS, but the most important thing was not, and I would let Morten comment on it.
Yeah, there's a certain backpack coming back to our game, on top of course the new brand set and gear set, and the 2 new exotics. So there's the Ninja Bike messenger bag. Here we see it. The reveal.
The reveal, yeah.
It's happening. So, the most asked question since the PTS, where do you get this? And the second most asked question, what cores will it have?
Yeah. So to answer those, it won't be locked behind the progression.
No. It will be on the Season Pass track. And it will have all 3 cores like the Memento.
I wanted to show like that, but yeah, 3 cores and obtainable almost immediately. I mean, it depends on how fast you will be able to unlock it on the Season Pass, but you won't need to wait until the climax mission and the end of the manhunt to get it.
Yeah, it's a matter of start grinding or start paying.
Yeah.
So we'll see this probably in the game during this week for sure. There will be some that just can't resist and just go straight after it. And then we'll see the meta, how it'll evolve with this item, because for sure it opens up a lot of different variations, and I'm really looking forward to seeing all the creativity from our players here.
Yeah, finally, worthy contender to Memento.
Hopefully, right? It's been like the number one backpack for since it arrived. So we hope this can actually add some variety in the builds. Yeah.
Yeah. And about Season Pass, it's gonna be available starting tomorrow for 1,000 premium credits, and it's also gonna feature 12 new weapon skins. And I think we have a few of them that we can show. Yeah. Oh, we have everything here.
Yes.
And also in my notes. And 11 new gear dice and 2 new face masks.
Correct.
Yes. I knew it. So one of the masks is going to be available as a level 100 reward. Those are very cool masks. I don't think that we have them here, but that's going to be a very pleasant surprise for all of you. And also another important comment that now Season Pass levels can be purchased for premium credits.
Yes.
So
From
if
the
you
get-go.
if you don't feel like grinding for a Memento backpack or Sacrum Imperium, because Sacrum Imperium is also not locked behind the Manhunt, it's available as a reward. So,
Correct.
yeah. Oh, I really love that one. I mean, Palace team outdid themselves with this gun.
I saw a really funny video. I can't remember who it was, but where he slowed one of the big guys. So he was moving super slow motion while he was shooting and burning him. Yeah, it's gonna add some really fun moments. This one.
So yeah, I mean, probably a lot of you already realize that, but this season is also playing a lot into the rifle and sharpshooter fantasy.
It's all about headshots, sniper fantasy and headshots. Yeah. So here we have the hotshot gear set in all its glory, and those that can really land consecutive headshots, they will have fun with this one for sure.
And all the information about here are some gear dice. I love them.
Weapon skins. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, the busy day.
This is why it's so good to have you here.
The disco tiger. It's so you can't see the tiger face in this video, but you'll see it with the good lighting in the game.
Oh, that's my favorite one.
Oh, the waffle.
Yeah, I really love how like chocolate doesn't look like chocolate, but that's what makes this gear die so good. No, gear die, weapon skin. I keep messing things up, sorry. But what I wanted to mention super quickly is that I forgot. No, I remembered, sorry. So every weapon, every talent will be listed in our patch notes that we're gonna release actually tonight with the announcement of the maintenance that we're gonna have tomorrow. So if you have any questions, if you wanna make sure, just check our socials later tonight.
And all the quality of life.
Yeah, everything is going to be there. And the Sacrum Imperium, all the new exotics, the Ninja Bike Messenger backpack, everything is there.
Cool.
But that's not it. I mean, we've talked about gear weapons that are exclusive and specific to Season 11, but there is something that we want to mention about the exotic from Season 10.
Yes.
Actually, a few things that we need to mention about Dr. Home. Yeah.
About Dr. Home, yeah. So once we know that we promised to grant this to all the players, and it will happen. But first we focus on actually fixing the grant system, and then we'll get back to making sure that you get it. It will be in the general loot pool from tomorrow, so every player can obtain it through that. But we're changing. We're actually changing a few things to increase the value of the item. So it's basically we're changing the armor regen. We're nerfing that from 15% to 10%. But that is because we will, instead of you dropping an item and you have to pick it up, we're basically making a mark on the target, and when the target dies, it applies the 10% armor to your group. So on kill. No need to pick up anything. So that's going to be a massive buff to the weapon as I see it. So that's going to be interesting. There's no overhealing or over armoring. I don't know. Bonus armor being applied, so it's still only your original armor. But for sure, it's gonna be really interesting to see the performance of the weapon from tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, and also a few more important changes that finally it's gonna grant you exotic components when deconstructed.
Correct.
And the focus talent should also be applicable to Dr. Home and work with it.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
So.
Also going to be in patch notes.
It will.
So check it out later tonight. And I think that anything else we want to mention about Season 11? Apart from that, the trailer is really great and the new Prime Target is a really hot guy.
No, I think that's it sums it up, and we'll let the players experience all the content for themselves and get back to us hopefully with a lot of comments and feedback.
Yeah, and looking forward to how many gonna have Ninja Bike Messenger backpack as their go-to item. Okay, and one last thing that is related to Season 11 is the April event. That's gonna call Necessary Tactics.
Yes.
And we can show it here. It's gonna have 6 full cosmetic outfits and 3 reward masks. Completion reward masks, right? Right.
Yes.
Yes. So there were a few snapshots. As you can see, the fantasy behind it is very
camo tactical.
Yeah. That's something that players have been asking for a lot of time now, so hopefully you guys gonna enjoy it. I think it looks very nice.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, I love the hat with the aces. It's so cute. It's probably weird.
Playing cards.
Yeah, probably weird to say that something that looks so tactical and camouflagey is cute.
They also need time to just sit and play cards.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. We're super excited to get this out. So this will be, of course, not tomorrow, but in a few weeks, as per usual, we'll have the apparel event coming up.
Yeah, and we'll also update you with all the information about the keys, because every apparel event we're coming to the same problem. People do not know where to get the keys. But don't worry, we'll definitely showcase that as well.
Yeah, so all players get one key.
Yeah.
No matter if you own the premium or not, season pass. And then, of course, there's 3 additional keys for season pass premium owners, just as usual.
Yeah, and 1 key for 4 shade levels.
Yes, correct.
So yeah, at least 3 different ways of obtaining the keys.
Yeah, and you can, if you feel like it, you can buy and grant keys to your younger sibling, or if you know somebody you want to.
You want to look cute in the tactical outfit.
Yeah, exactly right.
Okay then, and there are a few things that we wanted to briefly comment on. I think we'll start with Descent game mode, because originally it was supposed to be part of the Season 11, and that is something that we announced on the previous live stream. But since then, a lot of things has changed, and the most important part of it is that we decided to include a co-op option.
Yeah. So there was a lot of questions about it, if was it single player only or not. It was intended to at least be co-op at some point, and we really wanted and needed to improve on this aspect of the game mode to make it compelling and really feel right when playing in a group. Because as a roguelite inspired game mode, it's quite different. We're gonna go into all the details in the next live stream, but just knowing that playtests are ongoing, We're play testing ourselves, and it's super fun. So we can't wait to show more about this and get you all playing. I guess you can reveal a little something about when they can do that.
It's going to be included in the next season's BTS. So basically, the first season of year 5, we're going to have Descent game mode available during the BTS, and we'll share more information about that once we're closer to that specific moment. So a little bit later, we'll need to get through season 11 first and beat Stovepipe.
Yeah. So in the coming months.
In the coming months, yeah. But it's so exciting. I mean, I'm head over heels about this game mode. It's really fun to play together with someone. So definitely adding the multiplayer is worth the wait.
Especially with multiplayer and the fact that you start without gear. You as a very experienced player can ask a friend to join, and within a very few levels, they just need to onboard basically in the game and open the helicopter. You can start playing Descent together because you'll have the same base gear, depending on your choices, of course, just have fun together.
And the variability of builds that are otherwise not really accessible in that type of combinations in the main game.
We're not revealing too much.
Okay. I just wanted to share my excitement because actually me and Morten we play together. So.
Yeah. At that time, I think it was overtuned, so it was a bit difficult.
Let's wait until the BTS whenever we have it.
Yes.
And actually talking about testing, we wanted to make a brief announcement about the ETF because also we've seen a few questions, people wondering if it's been cancelled, if it's still ongoing, and we want to ensure you that it's on track. It's happening, maybe happening as we speak at this very moment. I don't know. Do you? If you, as the ETF member, you were selected, you signed the NDA, and you either did not receive the invitation to our ETF Discord server or the invitation link expired, please let us know. Please reach out to me or Morten, or if you have the community team email, and we will resend the link to you.
Yes. It's going to happen very, very soon.
Yeah.
That's probably what we can say, right?
I don't know. We already did that.
Yeah.
Okay, we are closing to the most exciting part, I think. Apart from the stovepipe face reveal and the really cool trailer, future plans. And that is something that we have outlined on our known issues board. And I know that some of those changes may seem a little bit confusing, and we just wanted to provide more insights and explanation. And you already mentioned in the very beginning the XP revamp and the conflict. So
that's mostly for conflict, but there's of course another XP revamp that we have been mentioning before, an overhaul to the complete XP gains in different activities. It's gonna arrive with the first season in year 5, is the plan. So what we basically want to do is make sure that no one's open world activities worth more your time than others. We want to try, and it can't be perfectly balanced, but at least we want to make sure that it makes sense to do all the activities that are closest to you instead of just running for the same over and over. So most of the activities will have an XP increase, and very few will be adjusted a little down to rebalance that, to make it more enjoyable to just explore and have fun in the game instead of just chasing and resetting the map constantly. So that's the goal, and that will arrive with the first season in year 5.
Yeah, we will definitely share more information about it on the known issues board. I think pretty much everything is in there. Probably we'll have to update it with the newest info. But yeah, if you have any questions or want to make sure that you are not missing anything, please don't forget to visit our known issues board.
Yes.
Because it's not only it's not only dedicated to the issues or problems that we have in the game, but also some future plans and the changes that we are considering. So it would be very important for us to also get your feedback on that.
Yeah, and for Conflict to add to the XP gains. So of course we also want to add proficiency gains. We want to add targeted loot. And potentially exotic components chance in the caches. So that's all, part of the things that we look at constantly to try and freshen things up a bit in the game across the different modes. So this time around, it was the Dark Zone that was the focus. Not that the Dark Zone will not be a focus for the next season, but at least we want to try and do what we can for Conflict because it feels like it's like a tag on at the moment that's not really a part of the economy in the game, and we want to try and include that into the mix.
Yeah, definitely does not really help you with your Shade Watch progression.
Not at all.
Yeah,
no.
And that's one of the ideas behind it.
And then we have other minor, I guess, quality of life updates that we haven't mentioned. That it's all going to be in the patch notes, of course. I think one of the ones that I want to mention, because it's been a big frustration for many players, is when playing Countdown, you don't really have any kind of indication as to who becomes the leader of the group. So we're adding some UI elements that will clearly show you if you have been selected the group leader. And it will also indicate very clearly when the group is full and you can start the game mode. So hopefully that will speed up the matchmaking times and queue times for players across the board.
Yeah, that's minor but very useful update for sure.
Yeah. So these are all, we have a ton of quality of life things that we're working on, especially UI related. Some are coming now. And then we have a long list of things we want to do again for the next seasons.
Yep. And I think that we actually now have time to answer some of the questions. I'm sorry for being
okay.
so out of disrespect. I was just checking the questions that we've got. So let's see what will be the roadmap after season 11. Actually, we released a roadmap earlier, I think not even this year, probably in December last year, that features the beginning of year 5. And of course, we will be updating it closer to season 11 end, right? With more year 5 information.
Yeah. Maybe I should just, again, state that season 1 in year 5 is not a rerun of an old season. We're basically just taking away the season number from 12-13 because it doesn't really add up or align with our TU numbers, so our title update numbers. That is a term that we use in our production, and a lot of the community is using it as well, and that just creates a lot of weird situations. I've seen people stating, "Hey, it's season 17 coming soon," and it's like, what? So it's just to get rid of that, and basically we will potentially just remove numbers and really try and use the naming of the season more or the TU numbers. So no, it's not a rerun.
Thank you so much for clarifying that again. So there was a question about the season 11 delay that prevented us from having a global event for almost 2 months. And I remember on Twitter we were saying that we are considering this option, and this is something that we wanted to put on from the get-go. But unfortunately, the build system, since you all know, it was very heavily affected, that prevented us from doing that.
Yeah, so for us to change the content of the season, we actually need to do a client update, so that the client is in sync with what the server is showing and telling the client. So adding a global event, it on paper it sounds super simple to just rerun a global event, but we can't. We would love to do it, and it's just one of the things that hopefully in the future we can change that behavior. But for now, that's not a possibility we have.
Yeah, but it was definitely something that we were considering from the very beginning, and we know that that's something that players wanted and we ourselves wanted, but unfortunately, technically, it was not possible at the time. So, there are a few questions about the apparel. Will the apparel from last seasons be obtainable through the apparel crates? With the beginning of the new season
from the apparel event?
Yeah.
No, so they are in the store. And that's how you can obtain them from now on. All the apparel events, they are, exclusive to that time when we run them. And then they are added to the in-game store after the event is done.
So yeah, the question was specifically about the baby face mask.
The baby face, yeah. It's in the store.
Also, people asking about the rerun of the older events, specifically Hardwired, Setback.
It's not something that we're considering at the moment. So we'll see what happens. But, we have new content coming up that we're, constantly looking at and creating and planning for. And that right now is the focus instead of rerunning our old apparel events.
And are there any plans on making more apparel items on the shop available to buy with textiles?
There's no specific plans currently, but I won't rule it out. Definitely not. There might be some occasions where that is a good way for us to distribute apparel items. So yeah, it might happen, but we don't have any specific plans right now. The time it takes to create the content for a season in terms of the characters that need dressing and you need new items, and then on top an apparel event is quite a huge task. And right now that's about what we have in terms of production capacity. But we're always looking for small holes where we can add stuff and optimize things, and then we'll see where we end up with those.
Yeah, I actually see a lot of people asking about that from time to time, but at the same time, I don't see a lot of people running in the yellow hunter outfit and the stinger one, because that was the and the tracksuit, the pink tracksuit. You guys are not wearing it. Like, show us some love.
At least the yellow hunter suit is in the store for textiles. That's correct.
Yeah, and the pink tracksuit is a Gemology.
Gemology is premium. Yeah. Premium only. Yeah.
Sorry. PvP questions. There's actually a question about the conflict. Do we plan to add more maps to conflict?
No.
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. First, we need to really make sure that conflict feels right. And with that, we'll have discussions with the PvP ETF and see how we can potentially change that experience. And then, then look at, let's not discuss too much into the future. I think first and foremost, it's about, making sure that conflict feels rewarding and fun. And that can hopefully be done with some adjustments to the rewards and how the RPG is working inside that game mode.
Another question from the PvP community about the cheaters and how we're actively combating that. And I think it's important to mention once again that it's absolutely necessary for you to report cheaters whenever you encounter them. Same goes for people who are, harassment or an explicit talk, if you actually encounter something that makes you uncomfortable, it doesn't matter if it's cheating or just inappropriate behavior, please make sure to record the video is the best option here, and make sure you send the report to Ubisoft support, because unfortunately neither me nor Morten, we cannot ban people. We do not have access to that specific system. So whenever we see your reports, there is a very little chance for us to act on that.
Yeah, and
unless there was a ticket open already or information that support has in their sanctioning matrix that this specific person has been already sanctioned before.
Yeah, manual bans, they are super difficult to do. So any kind of evidence needs to be extremely explicit. And of course, that's easiest to see if it's a video. And especially, we've seen examples of people streaming, cheating and shooting through walls and whatnot. So support can easily identify that type of cheating. But all other sorts of cheating, I know that, people are discussing, lag switching or Cronus Max, whatnot. There's a lot of different things, and it's just extremely difficult for us to do anything about it. It's not that we are not trying, but it's a matter of focus and availability and data. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes all the time, but we do what we can. But as I also stated recently, the main part of the bans comes from the automated systems through EC Anti-Cheat, and then support follow up with the good reports that come in.
Yeah, absolutely. And the sanctioning matrix itself to kind of give you a better insight into how that works and how that operates and set up. Nobody is going to be banned on the first account. A person needs to be a reoffender to actually be banned forever. And that is a quite rare occurrence, because usually people are sane and decent enough to stop doing whatever they are doing in the game that it goes against rules whenever they get the first report.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. If it's easy anti-cheat catching you using a cheat software, I'm pretty sure you're banned for life. I don't know our sanctioning history and rules, but yeah, there's definitely a big variety in how long a sanctioned players are getting, depending on what they're doing in our game. But yeah,
absolutely.
We know it exists, and we are fighting all we can, but it keeps happening again and again in all games. So unfortunately,
but unfortunately, I will need to remind you once again that we can't ban people that you guys report to us on our personal Twitter accounts.
Nope.
You will still need to reach out to Ubisoft support for them to collect and store that data, because if the person is the reoffender and consistently keeps, using glitches or using inappropriate language, that should be written in the system. That information should be there. And that is the only opportunity to actually ban that person.
Correct.
So, yeah. Moving on, what do we have? A question about raids. Why don't we consider adding exotics to the discovery difficulty of raids?
I don't know. It's probably just not been on the table. We're constantly looking at what type of activities should have their rewards updated. So I can't really comment on this one because I've not been part of the raid discussion. But yeah, it's a good question. If there should be anything added to that. So we'll see what happens in future seasons.
I mean, we just added it to the Dark Zone, and people started complaining immediately.
That's
so
correct.
what's going to happen if we add that on discoverability?
Yeah,
discovery difficulty. Since the raid exclusive exotics are now available to PvP players in the Dark Zone, will you make the Dark Zone exclusive gear sets available on the PvE side? It's actually something that we haven't really...
We have been discussing,
Yeah.
Where we could use that gear, but it's not. There are no plans currently for that.
I'm not sure if we want to address any questions about Descent or about the multiplayer. Like, there were questions about how many people will be able to play together.
Oh,
Descent.
that's a one group size, so that's 4 players.
4 players, yeah.
Yeah.
So there was also a question about the Pentagon mission and the fix.
Yeah, so there's the DARPA mission and the Pentagon. That's where people get stuck because they boost a character to New York and complete that before they've done the other one in Washington. And we know about it. We're working on it. One of them, I believe it's the DARPA one, if I'm not mistaken, has been fixed. I can't remember which update. So many title updates, but yeah, we're constantly working to fix it. We know it's annoying, and we will do our best to fix that issue. It's a lot of new players. We've had many new players over the course of the fall and of course with the Steam introduction. So if they boost and run into these issues, it's super frustrating. So that's why we've seen a lot more players reporting this recently, because we've seen such a tremendous boost in new player activity in the last 4 to 5 months.
Also, another question about the crashes. Will the game continue to crash on console with the upcoming update when hovering the northwest of the map? I believe that the fix is in and has been in for quite some time now.
Yeah, I think so. Also, there's another crash fix coming for the travel between New York and DC. That's coming with tomorrow's update.
Yeah, because partially that was fixed after the season 10 update that we did last week. So it should be completely fixed with TU7. Yeah, so basically tomorrow. Question about the marksman rifle brand set. Will there be a buff or overhaul for marksman rifles? They suffer from a severe accuracy damage deficiency. I think that's what basically Season 11 is about.
Yeah, Season 11 is about snipers. So that I think there's like 2 questions I see a lot. So this is one of them. The damage accuracy / range, and the other one is the available ammo capacity. So we are looking at all things like this constantly, and we will, of course, with this season going live, have a closer look at the sniper rifles in particular to follow and see how they behave. Once players start playing with the new toy, and then. But then we'll drop an update if we believe that it's warranted.
Will the Ninja Bike will be working with brand sets and gear sets, or only one of them? Actually,
it should definitely work with all the types of sets in the game. So it's brand sets, it's gear sets for sure. Yes. So we'll see a lot of new constellations of builds, hopefully in the coming weeks.
And I think we're gonna take one last question because we are a little bit over time. There are a few questions about the changes to the existing skills. I remember that was mentioned in one of the previous streams that it's something that we're considering, that we don't want to add new skills, but rather look at the existing ones. And the question is specifically about the skills that are quite rarely used because they require a lot of micromanagement, but I actually don't remember.
I think that's a good question to save for our next stream.
See that little smile? I'm trying to pretend that I know nothing. I actually know nothing. So, and I think, I don't see any new questions. So I guess it's time for us to conclude everything. I would really love to watch a trailer one last time, but thank you so much for being here today, be our special guest and answering all our tough questions. I really appreciate that. And I hope, guys, that you enjoyed our live stream. And once again, a reminder, Season 11, Reign of Fire, is going to be available tomorrow after the maintenance, and the patch notes are going to be posted on our social media tonight. So check them out and make sure that you're going to be in the game tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Goodbye.